Just taking a quick look at this new Aspen series. So this is a new lineup of 12-volt fridges from BougeRV. Now it's available in different sizes and pro models as well. We'll kind of get to the details here in a second. But the main thing you want to know about is, why they come up with this new model range. It's actually this dual system setup. So not dual zone, okay? Dual system. So what does that mean? Let's just try to look at it and find out. Is it a gimmick? Is it legit? What is it? And so basically, they're saying that there's this ice drive system that you can activate. You can activate it with one button. I think, yeah, right there, one button, and it'll basically chill this area that's next to the compressor and sits on top of the compressor down to 0 degrees, and they claim it makes it super stable. Now, what's interesting about this is this fridge does have the regular dual zone systems that most dual zone fridges have, right? Where you can have fridge or freezer in either compartment, and you can mix and match and you can do whatever you want. So what's interesting about this ice drive system is it uses, as I mentioned, this area here. So how is that different than if you had this configuration, this first one that they show right here, where you'd have that section as a freezer anyways, right? And so they're saying that, it's great for ice cream and that it'll keep it below 0. But the thing is, if you have that freezer section normally set at 0, wouldn't that work the same? Evidently it wouldn't, right? And I think a lot of people would probably agree with that, right? A lot of these 12-volt fridges don't work that great as a freezer. So this is interesting, but the thing that kind of catches my eye here is that if you actually look at some of these other images here, like this one, they've got this Haagen-Dazs ice cream just kind of chilling in there, right? But if you actually kind of zoom in closer here, and actually, I think there's a better image here. Let's try to find, I think there's another one that I was looking at that might demonstrate this a little bit better. Just, give me a second here. We're not doing any editing anymore on these videos. So it's all going to be live. So is it going to be, it's not going to be quick and to the point as the normal videos. But, I don't know. Maybe you'll have to leave a comment and let me know how this is, it's getting confusing here real quick. I understand that. But guess what? There it is. There's the image, So that would have been like a 30-second cut that I would have normally done. We're not doing that anymore. So, but basically here it is. There's a little ice box that they give you when it sits next to the compressor in the lowest area of this zone, right? So this is interesting because heat rises, and you're not going to want to be storing ice cream, specifically ice cream, towards the top end of the compartment, because even if it's 0 degrees down here, it's not going to be 0 at the top. So it's interesting they give you this little ice box, and what's interesting too is they show that this is 9. There's like 9 of these, like I think it's like quart-size ice cream, a standard ice cream thing. There's no way you fit 9 of those in there. I can tell you that right now. You probably fit like 2 of them in there. So, that's the area that I guess supposedly is guaranteed to stay at 0. And, I guess that is appealing if you want, ice cream on the road or whatever. But the thing is, I would say it's the way they advertise this is just, is a little bit dishonest, really. It's deceiving. There was another picture here. I think it was this one. Yeah, it's this one right here. Look at this. They show a couple of Ben and Jerry's sitting at the very top of that compartment, right? There's no way that ice cream's frozen, right? That ice cream's mush for sure. Not only because, as I mentioned, heat rises, but also this area that they're using for this ice drive area sits over the compressor, right? So this is just, I'm really surprised that they went this route, because in some of their other models, take a look at this. Some of their other models I've been a big fan of, where basically they have the storage box that sits, here's the compressor, right? It sits right there. So, as I mentioned, these 12-volt refrigerators, the cooler you want the compartment to be, the more the compressor is going to run. And then the more the compressor runs, the more heat that it puts out, right? And what does heat do? It rises up. So you don't want to have the chilled area above the compressor. This is just, it's silly, really. You're just going to waste power. It's like you get into this like death cycle, right? Where the more it runs, the colder you try to make it, the more heat the compressor makes. So I really love this old model that BougeRV sells. And what's really interesting, this battery, excuse me, this battery works with this new Aspen series as well, but the integration is just not nearly as good. I mean, look at this. This box actually fits this battery, and then there's a little like grommet there to route the cord through as well. So very nice. I just really love this fridge, and like I said, it's an older model. Now it's only available in the smaller sizes, so I guess that might be a reason why you want to look at this Aspen series. And in fact, I would encourage you to then look at only the bigger models, really, because as I mentioned, you don't want to be stuffing any of these 12-volt refrigerators to the top, because there's no fan, there's no way to circulate the air and to kind of distribute the temperature evenly throughout the entire fridge. So when that heat rises, you're just bound to have the stuff at the top is just warmer. And then obviously the lid, if you open the lid, you're going to be getting the ambient air up at the top as well. So like this milk, there's no way that milk's not spoiled, right? I mean, that milk's at least 50 degrees, guarantee you that. And in addition to the mushy ice cream, maybe you like mushy ice cream, I don't know. But so, you gotta get like the bigger models if you really want to have, I would say, reliable refrigeration. It's just you want to go bigger. So let's just take a look at it here. This is the 40 model, I think, the mid-sized one. So the bottom part's all the same, right? The compressor's the same. And then the little ice chest that they give you, actually, let's just go over to, there was this one here. This is the biggest one, the 50. So there you go. The compressor and the ice chest, the little ice box that they give you for this ice drive system, it's the same. No matter which model you get, it's the same. The compressor, that area at the bottom is all the same. It's just taller, is what I was saying. So basically, you can put that same amount of food into this taller version. It's only going to go up to about here, right? And then all the hot air will kind of settle up here where you don't have food. So, it's just going to work better. And then, as far as the, let's see what else we were going to talk about. I think there's a couple of other features. Well, the battery. We got to talk about the battery. But yeah, so the Pro models get the wheels. They get this little handle, right? So, and again, it's either any size. You can get Pro or just a standard without the wheels. And then let's see what we got here. Okay, they all get the dual zone lights, right? So that's kind of a nice feature to have. And then let's just kind of browse here and just see if there's anything interesting to talk about. I will get to the battery aspect of this system, right? Because when I first looked at actually, let's just talk about it. I'm talking about it right now. When I first saw this option, I was like, this is not, I wouldn't go for this, right? I wouldn't go for this, especially if you're going to buy it like this, just standalone. $190 for 220 watt hours. It's just a standard NMC little battery bank, really. But the thing I would say is if you can get it with the bundle, come on, let's try to get out of here. Anyways, the bundle, yeah, the bundle right here. Let's just take a look at it. The bundle is only $399 with this model, and then the regular model is $319. So yes, $80. I would say if you're going to buy it as the bundle. $80 for this 220 watt hour battery. Power station, really. This is the other thing. I thought it was more of just a battery for these models, for these 12-volt refrigerator models. I thought it was just a battery, but actually they have some pretty decent specs on this thing. So we do get, obviously the big thing, you're going to be using this to power the refrigerator with this car socket. It is regulated. They do mention it's a little bit higher than normal. It's regulated at 14.5 volts. So that's that's good. You want to be able to keep the compressor going and have it still maintain over 12 volts, right? So at 14.5, it's probably going to be even in the 13s when it's running, right? So that's probably what you would get from the wall adapter, right? So this is just good stuff. Now, the thing that you want to note is that there are other ports on this thing. There are USB-C, there's USB-A, there's a 7909 input as well that can do up to 100 watts. So they're saying 6 amps, I think, up to 100 watts. So that's, that's actually pretty good. And it's just a standard voltage range, 28 volts. But still, you can use that. And then the USB-C 60 watts in or out. I think it was in or out. I'm pretty sure it was in or out. And then the other thing, though, is that it is NMC batteries. So this is interesting because I've talked about in a lot of my videos, I really prefer NMC batteries a lot of the time, right? Unless you're doing heavy use, heavy cycling, pass-through charging, discharging, high loads every day, right? I think NMC batteries just hold their charge better. They just work better, really, right? The BMS typically is a little bit more accurate because the LFP batteries, the voltage doesn't change that much when you're using them, discharging them and stuff like that. So it's just a little bit harder for the BMS to calculate it accurately, what's going on. So anyways, I like NMC batteries still a lot of the time. But in this case, I just don't know because it's only 220 watt hours, right? So I mean, how much runtime is that going to give you on the fridge? It's not going to give you that much. I mean, they say something like, I think they actually had they had it somewhere over here. External battery. Hold on here. Yeah, external battery, fast cooling. I don't know. I saw it somewhere over here where it said how much power it would use. Oh, I think it's down here. This one? No. This is the problem when you don't edit. I mean, it's just, there's like a million things to look at here. Okay. Like 100 pop cans going into this thing. I don't know where it was at. Yeah, I think it was up here. Oh, it's right here. Yeah, 127 kilowatt hours per year. So that's like, 365 divided by that. It's like a third of a kilowatt hour, 300 some watt hours per day is what they're saying. So you're not going to get, what are you going to get out of 220 watt hours? You're probably going to get half a day or something like that, right? And that's if you do the full cycle. This is the problem. If you do the full cycle, you're going to kill this battery pretty quick, especially if you're doing solar. If you're charging it with solar at the same time and you're using this and you're going like, there it is right there. If you're doing the full capacity, 0 to 100%, because you're really going to need to, you don't have that much capacity to work with, and you're charging it at solar at the same time, and especially, 100 watts going in, and then you got that 60 watt compressor coming on and off, and you're doing the full cycle, this battery is just not going to last that long. So this is, if you want to use this kind of setup a lot, I would just say go with some smaller LFP power station, right? You can probably get better specs anyways. And, you have the LFP, you can just cycle a ton, right? So, and you could perhaps get, better solar charging, more USB outputs. You get even a little inverter, right? Which might come in handy for something else. So, and then especially with this model that has this external mount for this battery. Like, look at that. It just mounts on the side. And I don't know. I think you're just likely to bump this, aren't you? You're just likely to bump that battery. I think, if you're going to use kind of a built-in battery with these fridges, I think it'd be really nice to have, like this model. Again, I just keep going back to this model, but to have it internally, right? And then you just don't got to worry about it. So, yeah, I don't know. I don't think I would. I think I would only go for this battery if you can just get this bundle, you know, for a super good price. With this Aspen series, just go for another another power station, right? I mean, you can get like a little. Blue Eddy's got some new, really small, like you know, really small power stations that have a ton of features. They're gonna be coming in, you know, some new videos. Don't worry about that. The 2A, I think, and the AC70. So they got a bunch of different models. Um, I would get something like that in combination with this fridge, right? And then, as I mentioned, get at least the 40 or the 50 size. Don't go for this little model unless you just, you know, want to put a few things here at the bottom, right? Maybe 1 quart of ice cream down here, and then, you know, maybe a few yogurts or something, you know, down there. Don't go past this, basically the height of the compressor. Don't go past that, and definitely don't put anything on top of that area, because as I mentioned, the heat's just going to rise up. It's just going to be a disaster. So, you know, this is appealing, I guess, if you do want, you know, ice cream, and I guess, you know, they're guaranteeing that it's going to work better than just the standard freezer mode, which I still don't understand. But so, yeah, I mean, that's just the overview of this Aspen series. You know, I guess, yeah, if you want ice cream and you're kind of buying into this whole dual system, you know, it's kind of a gimmick, I think. Honestly, it's kind of a gimmick. But, you know, I guess it probably does work better, right? It probably does work better as long as you're just putting ice cream in this little box and you're keeping it down there. You're not filling it up too high. And like I said, maybe you got like one of those new Blue Eddies. Maybe you got like a River 2. Even that little new Jackery, that Jackery 300 Plus. There's actually a lot of interesting, well-spec'd, small LFP power stations, right, that you can really use with this thing and use it a lot, and it's going to be no problem, right? Just make sure you got that regulated 12-volt car socket that most, you know, all of the major brands are all going to have that, and you should be good to go, right? And then you don't got to deal with this weird kind of clip-on battery thing that's probably not going to work that well, right? But, you know, get the bundle. It's appealing if you get the bundle. But even this fridge you could still use with some other power station, right? Yeah, I think that's about it. I think we covered everything in this non-edited, you know, we're just running straight through this. Yes, it's going to be longer. Yes, it's not going to be quick to the point. It's not going to be, you know, as entertaining, really, I mean, unless you just got a lot of patience. But, you know, I was doing like 50 cuts on some of these videos. It was just insane. So we're going to see how this one does with the analytics. And I don't know, leave a comment too, I guess, if you like it. Or actually, you probably, if you don't like it, you'd probably be more likely to leave a comment, right? That's kind of how it works. So, and some of the top YouTubers, you know, this is something they've mastered, right? I mean, you make a controversial video, you're going to get more comments, and then that just drives the algorithm. It just drives YouTube to promote the video more. So this is how it is. But, you know, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing this no edit not to get bad comments. I mean, that's not why I'm doing it. Like I said, the main driving force here is just spending, you know, hours editing these videos. It's ridiculous, you know. I want to get more of these videos out too. I want to make more of these videos for you guys, and it's just discouraging if I know I got to spend hours editing them, right? So this is the new setup, at least for now. We're going to try it. And we're going to see. And hopefully this video didn't go too long, but you know, it's probably going, I don't know. It seems like we've done a couple of like 3 10-minute sessions here. So if it ends up being 30 minutes, you know, I guess I'll just upload it and see what happens, really. You know, upload it, see what happens. But yeah, this is the overview of the new Aspen series dual system. You know, not dual zone, dual system. 12-volt refrigerator line from BougeRV. You know, 60-watt compressor. Ice, what did they call it? Ice drive? Yeah, ice drive. So there you go. hopefully you found it interesting, helpful, entertaining, and yeah, thanks for watching.